Oh no, the rice. Oh, it seems to have completely vanished right before my eyes. And I honestly have no idea where it could have gone so suddenly.
Five, four, three, two, one. Close the door. Finally, I get to say that. Everyone, welcome to Om's new studio.
This right here,
This is actually Om's own studio. Still,
safe if it's Indonesia.
as of right now, it still seems to be perfectly safe.
And furthermore,
Don't you think the years seem to go by faster and faster, Om? Yeah.
you know, when I say 2025, it's like October, November, December. That's when everything starts coming one after another. 2026 should be finished. Wow, so the escalation happened first, huh?
Just simply,
2 weeks.
we've reached this point,
Yeah, the president has already changed.
and I think I really feel it.
From Venezuela, right? Just now. As for me,
I actually didn't want to go there, you know? So who's the vice president?
wow, the president. Yeah, who's the president then? Not yet.
Got it.
Not yet.
Got one, that's right. But
Can you just claim to be president yourself?
that's it. I see that the further we go, the less rules there are. It seems like the world is just getting more and more chaotic over time. So sometimes, seriously, I get goosebumps when I watch what's been happening these past few weeks. Seriously, I really get goosebumps. Because I've been reading about the hadiths regarding the end times, you know. And according to the Prophet, don't expect that as time goes on, the chaos will get any less. The chaos will only get bigger.
Wait. You mean, Ustad, from the hadiths you've read, we're already heading in that direction?
Absolutely, 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 absolutely.
So we're talking about the end times here. Yes.
And what is perhaps even more terrifying and scarier to consider is that there are actually so many authentic hadiths that go into such incredibly vivid and haunting detail about this
About the facts.
that we see now. Sometimes that makes me... A friend of mine is getting married, and the timing is perfectly timed for 2026.
Yeah, that's right. If you want to get married, do it soon, in 2026. As for 2027, we just don't know.
You don't want to get married again,
Seeing the state of the world right now, I think I'll wait for now. Feels like the divorce would be quick. It might just fail. Or where would we even move to later?
The changes...
These things are simply too big and moving way too fast. And earlier, when I was also talking with Ustaz, we agreed that the level of escalation is just way too much for us to handle right now.
and too fast.
Too fast. It's unpredictable.
And also,
We can't do anything about it.
that's why when I read about the hadiths of the apocalypse and relate them to our times, I start thinking like this, it's scary when we actually experience the apocalypse. And I try to relate it to the same kind of fear. Actually, we don't have to wait until later. But a minor apocalypse could happen, right? Oh,
Yeah. A minor apocalypse could probably happen any day.
to ourselves, right?
Furthermore,
I think that's just as terrifying. Because honestly, if I talk about myself, for example, there are so many things that could change me instantly. Dreaming about dying.
what do you mean dreaming about dying? So,
I dream that I'm on my deathbed. And I know that I'm about to die soon,
ever? Yes, I have.
many times. And it always makes me change instantly.
So it's like a warning?
I don't know. Not
A warning about dying, but a warning to change your life.
what
Well, you see,
I often say is, I really hate my older sibling,
I honestly and truly feel from the bottom of my heart, without any doubt or hesitation whatsoever.
I hate my sibling.
And also,
Because I hate my sibling so much, I don't even want to save their number.
and so,
There was a time, for example, when he once asked, what does this hadith mean, Link?
so when we take all of these different factors into account,
When I had that dream, in the dream I actually said, I forgive him. In the dream, I mean, I woke up crying. This
this is a character that's very, very different from me. Okay, let me tell you a story. Because Ustad shared a story like that, I've experienced it too. So
I suppose, so
I wasn't dreaming though. So I almost died once during COVID. I almost died 3 times, but let me tell you about the COVID one first. I almost died because of a cytokine storm. Every day in the hospital, all I saw was bodies being carried out.
that hit you hard, right?
Yeah, mentally. The cytokine storm damaged 60% of my lungs. I couldn't do anything anymore. My fever was 43.
It is measured in degrees.
Then I couldn't.
Do anything.
Exactly.
43, exactly.
I was already like a crazy person. All that was left was to get injected with medicine. And the doctor said, wait 24 hours, just wait these 24 hours. If your fever doesn't go down, only God knows what will happen.
We couldn't do anything anymore.
Besides, the doctor said 24 hours. That just made us even more stressed, right? But as it turned out, thank God, after 24 hours, my fever went down. So I recovered. The doctor was happy too. That was when Aska stayed with me at the hospital, right? So then a lot of people ask when that happened to me, what did I learn from it?
Or did you even think about it at that time?
That's right. Did your thoughts go to the present or to the future or what? Well, for me, both the present and the future were combined into one. And it turns out my way of thinking was different from Ustaz's. How
Come.
So a lot of people who are given a near-death experience, when they don't end up dying, they repent. They think there are a lot of things in their life that they need to change. But I didn't think like that at the time, Dad.
What do you mean? How was the process?
My thought was, okay, I was about to die, but Allah gave me a second chance. That means Allah believes in me. What I did before was already right. Just keep going. That's
So gutsy, honestly. Seriously, that's bold. That's really different, though.
But if people ask me, that's how I answer. Because I thought, yeah, but I was already about to die, right?
Like, the conclusion is what you did before was already right. That's what you mean, right?
Because I've been given life. If it wasn't right, I'd already be in hell. Or if it was right and good, I'd be in heaven.
That's the first time I've heard that philosophy.
So his life just goes on like that. Just keep going. That's it, Ustaz. That's why I feel like my life is already on the right track.
But that's just what's been made public. But if it's not made public, what do you think about? I'm sure there's something on your mind. I mean, what is it that, when we're sick, we don't want to think about things that aren't important?
That means
There's something important that keeps coming to mind there. What?
what I was thinking at that moment was, as soon as it happened, I immediately thought, if I get a second chance and I survive and all that, what can I do for even more people? Because it seems like all this time as humans, there's always a tendency for us to focus on ourselves. There's always some egoism involved. I'm not saying I used to be selfish and never helped others or anything like that. But what I'm saying is it feels like when this second chance is given, it means that maybe what I did before was already right, but you can do better. You can do better. And I feel like, why is that? I saw more than 40 bodies every hour. I'm telling you, this is absolutely not a joke. So my room was completely closed off and I simply couldn't get out. The door was also sealed. There was only a tiny window. It was like a prison, Luckily, my child was there with me. Even when they brought in food, the person would come in wearing a hazmat suit. But we could see the patients in front. I could see the patients over there. So from my room, I could see everything.
It's empty now.
It would be better if it was already empty. Today, they waved goodbye like that because they knew me. Tomorrow, you go in, already in the playroom, already wrapped up in those silver coverings, already in the playroom, then out again. Seeing things like that, in a day, there could be 10 to 12 of those. And I was like, wow, that's going to be me soon.
When's our turn in line?
Yeah, that's going to be me soon. I even said to the Ask at that time, Ka, I don't think I'm going to survive this. But
At 42 years old, people usually start to, not think straight anymore. Oh,
I nearly died.
Your head gets big and all sorts of things happen. It's like you're hallucinating.
Oh, hallucination. It's going crazy. I saw a mermaid.
Because
There are bugs in the bathroom. If you're on the road in a diaper, it's no longer strong. Then I saw there were blue-bellied fish. It looked like a mermaid. That's crazy. Everything's crazy. Maybe a psychedelic experience. But then I also experienced floating bodies and so on.
was that before you talked to Aska? Or after?
Actually, that happened right after I had a long conversation with Aska about it.
How did Aska react when you said that?
With Aska, the true beauty of it is that she is incredibly strong. And back at that particular time, no need to talk about that. Let's just play cards.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So she never cried. And at that time, he didn't cry. He actually started to cry when the doctor finally told him that everything is going to be okay.
He hesitated momentarily.
He cried. I laughed. Already.
Let go, he cried.
Because
He's a burden.
burden. When the doctor said, what was funny was when the doctor said, when he checked again, Mas Deddy, you're okay. Mas Deddy is okay. Oh, the doctor was panicking, really panicking, because I looked like someone stressed out, sweating and all that. He thought I was already at the point of passing away.
Then
He checked like this, like this, like this. Sir, this is improving a lot. Really good. Why did Mas Deddy suddenly bounce back like this? Doc, you just said yesterday I only had 24 hours left. So do you think I could sleep? What do you expect me to do? I couldn't sleep. I was sweating, thinking I might die tomorrow. I kept thinking, oh, who would come visit me? But the beautiful thing was, I started wondering, if I died, who would come to see me? Who exactly would actually come to attend this very somber funeral service today?
people were then afraid to leave their homes.
And at that time, if I really died, no one would have come.
Because first, it wasn't allowed. Second, people were too scared.
Third, I guess people just don't like me.
But when I was close to dying, honestly, I heard about so many patients, including 2 people at Ungaji who almost died too. Like one of my friends, his name is Wimar. He was admitted while his parents were still alive. Both had COVID, and after experiencing hallucinations and all sorts of things, that same day his parents passed away too. They were admitted to the hospital and died. He went in with both parents and came out an orphan. I also have another friend. I WhatsApped him. Maz, how are you doing? He replied, but he was delirious.
But
He felt like earlier he could leave his body like that.
so if we really want to sit down and talk about this matter, actually there are 2 very important things to consider, Ustads. If we are talking about the subject of religion, then I will certainly go to you for guidance, Ustads.
Yes, indeed.
However,
If it's about your uncle's experience.
as for me, I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way. I feel like it was just a hallucination. But if we want to talk about religion, science, and experience, these are all different things, you know. Now, what's interesting is there's one case. So this one case happened in 1991. This is the most famous case. Her name is Pam Reynolds. She's from America. She experienced a near-death experience. So everything, her heart flatlined. Imagine her heart had already flatlined.
No more of this.
Heartbeat, and she was being operated on. Her ears were covered and so on, and they played sounds. Her body temperature had already been lowered to 15%. Her heart had stopped, and her blood had been drained from her brain. The context here is death. Oh,
So she was already being prepared to die? Yep.
basically she was already dead. But she regained consciousness after that.
Then she revived.
Again, then she was able to describe the doctor's conversation at that time. So she said, I know what you were talking about, I know. And the most fascinating and interesting part of the story is the doctor tried to explain it in all sorts of different ways. Then a nurse suddenly came in and continued the process and so on. This nurse didn't believe it, thinking maybe it was just her imagination and so on.
And then right after,
She said this. She was even interviewed about it. She said, like, can you check up there? So you know how in an operating room there are lights. There are lights up there. There was a post-it note.
there was a
Post-it note.
post-it note on top of the light.
Yes. There was something written by the doctor on it. I think it said something like, at this time do this, at that time do that, and so on.
A schedule of procedures.
A schedule for this, a schedule for that. Maybe it had been left there for a while and they forgot to take it down because the light is so high up.
Turns out,
When the nurse checked, she climbed up and found the post-it note there. The nurse's question was, how did he see it? What was the explanation for how he could see it? Well, his explanation was that he saw it from above.
he went up
Yes, he saw it from above. This is true. It really feels like if I tell this story, it's like
like a classic movie.
it's a story that's famous on the internet. It's so easy for people to follow it online. Cool, right? But there's a book about it because when my dad passed away, I bought the book Life After Death because of all these questions, one after another. And there were so many interviews about out-of-body experiences. So out of the hundreds of people interviewed at that time, almost all of their stories had the same context. There was even a blind person who was able to describe the face of their doctor at that moment.
Oh, that means they were no longer in their physical body.
Exactly. Blind, right? They described their doctor's face. So, of course, there was a debate because, you know, when we look at religious knowledge or clinical science compared to medical science, doctors,
It's clearly different.
yeah, and I feel like that's okay. Because when I study psychology, I learn I'm not a doctor, But when I study psychology, if I just accept like God exists, heaven is the final destination, then there's no need to study the science, but actually we have to connect all of it together. In medical science, it's explained like that's the rise of dopamine hallucinations and so on. But there's one case where they can't explain how that person could read the writing up above.
Right?
Of course, maybe they explain it as cooperation with the nurse or something like that. So when all is said and done, absolutely anything becomes possible. But there is a fascinating story behind it all.
That specific one,
which I think we shouldn't rule out the possibility. It's possible, right? It's possible.
that happened in 91, right? And there are still many cases like that today.
There are still a lot, and they say there are thousands. Thousands of people have experienced that.
But if we look at it like earlier, sorry to cut you off, what do you think about it, From what you experienced, which part do you think it fits into, Did you see anything up above or anything like that, No.
But I have experienced lucid dreams before.
Where?
I could see my own body. I could leave my own body, and then I could walk around like I was looking at my body, looking at my house. I have definitely experienced that before.
That about 3 to 4
times. 3 to 4 times. So if I put it simply, I could say that means it's the soul, right? The soul leaving the body. So we can actually see it ourselves. But when the soul leaves the body, if I put it that way, if we use emotion again and again, we could just say it's the Occam's razor principle. When you don't get an answer, you look for the simplest explanation, right? So you just say it's the soul, that's it. But if we look at it from a medical perspective, they say lucid dreams happen because the signals in our brain are more active. Then it reminds us of what happened, directs the story itself, creates its own dream, and so on. So this is kind of mystical, right? From this side is different, from that side is different, and from another side is different too. Interestingly, I just watched something yesterday. I'm talking at length here, hope that's okay.
That's exactly what we want, to make things interesting and see things from a new perspective, right? Because I'm sure this is really relatable for other people too.
So I also want to ask about it from a religious perspective later.
What movie is it,
There's this one movie. I was watching it on Netflix yesterday. If you haven't seen it yet, watch it. The title is The Good Place.
The Good Place. I haven't watched it yet.
From my personal perspective, it is definitely one of those classic comedies that will touch on religion.
Because the visuals are interesting.
This is because
lately it's been trending.
Yeah, exactly. Because you mentioned it, Ustaz, it reminded me of something. You should try watching it. So here's the story, Ustaz. Everyone here, listen up, okay? The story is actually funny. In the first scene, there's this beautiful girl. She's sitting there looking dazed. And in front of her, there's a handsome old man. He's an old man, but his face is really handsome. Hey, how are you? The girl just stares blankly. Hey, he says. Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Michael. Then I ask, wait, where am I? Oh, sorry, you're already dead.
Oh, so this is a story set in the afterlife.
The one
who's in the afterlife here? Who just died? The
girl, oh.
Is that so? The
old man seems to be an angel. Sorry, you're already dead. Huh? I'm already dead? Calm down, calm down. You're in the good place. You're in a good place. Calm down, calm down.
It's heaven.
Yeah, it's heaven, basically. Calm down, calm down. That's it. And the comedy in that conversation goes on for a really long time. It goes on for a really long time. Now, there's one bit of comedy I want to highlight.
Okay.
So after the girl gets over her shock and is calmed down, though it's funny, she finally calms down. Then she turns and asks the old man, hey, I'm really quite curious. She says to him, I've always been an atheist. So how exactly could I end up here in a place like this? Oh, we don't look at that part, he says. Then I want to ask, which one is actually right?
Like that.
Right? This makes sense, doesn't it?
Which
one is right? Then the angel says, they're all right. Huh? They're all right? That can't be. They can't all be right.
So who's wrong?
Yeah, who's wrong? Not everything can be right like this, she says. So Catholic and Christian are right. Buddhism and Hinduism are right. Islam is right. All these religions are right. Their explanations about death are correct. But only about 5% of it is actually right. There's
95% is hidden.
Only 5%, yeah. But John, back in 73 was right, John. 95% John. John who, she said. So here's the thing. There was this kid, right? He was in college, then he got drunk at night, then he did meth and mushrooms, and then he started rambling about heaven, hell, God, and so on, and we just listened. Everything he said was right, she said.
How could that be? So he was drunk then? I know what you mean. I know what he means. But
Is this a comedy? The perception has to be comedy first.
that means it's all nonsense.
Yes, our perception has to be comedy first, okay? That's me laughing like crazy. Genius. Genius joke. But finally, it explains about heaven and hell and so on. And what is truly interesting, I would like to ask you, Ustaz, in the teachings of Islam, when a person eventually enters hell, will they be required to remain in that hell forever?
In Islam, if someone enters hell, it depends. From the Islamic perspective, if they don't have faith, meaning they truly do not acknowledge Allah, they don't have an account for heaven there.
No account for heaven?
That's right. Then they will be in hell forever.
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 Okay.
But hell has different levels, right? The worst one, which we often hear about, is reserved for people who are truly outrageous, those who are beyond reason.
Okay. So, for example, if someone is in there forever, Ustaz, I have another question. This also comes from that movie.
So with that said,
So he said this: if parents love their child and then the child makes a mistake, the parents will scold, yell at, or punish their child. Why do parents punish their child? The question is, when parents punish their child, what are they hoping for? They
change.
But if, for example, God, or whatever you want to call it in any religion, who supposedly loves us, is said to be full of compassion, and then we make a mistake, and then we go to hell, we get punished forever, what are they hoping for?
Yeah, that's it. That's something I've thought about too. Ultimately, my final decision is this. From a personal perspective, I cannot hold any opinion other than the verses that have been read to me from the Holy Quran.
It's just that
My own personal hope is that absolutely no one will ever be in hell forever.
that's what I mean too. If it's not forever, that means
There's a time limit.
if there's a time limit, it means that God, or whatever you call him, is saying that this is a punishment for your mistakes so that you can become better, right? Like a parent. But if you're punished forever,
That's right. What's the point?
then that means you don't love, you don't care.
But it turns out the nature of it is more, in quotes, it's actually evil.
Evil, exactly. But if I say things like that, I'm not allowed to.
Yeah, that's right. If you say it, you'll get accused of blasphemy
Religious blasphemy, yes. Blasphemy is a hot topic right now.
again and again. So there are a few scenarios as I see it. First, there are people of faith. We can talk about that later, okay? Is it true that someone who just claims to have faith is really a believer? And is it possible that people we say aren't believers might actually have faith? We can discuss that later. But there are a few scenarios. The first scenario is the ideal one. There are people who have faith, do good deeds, and live well in this world. So no one disputes that such a person would go to heaven, for example. But then there are the second type of people. They're good people, but sometimes they do bad things.
Isn't that most people?
Most people fit this scenario. So according to the Quran, they are placed in hell first. They enter hell. In quotes, they're washed until all their sins are gone. Then, only after that do they enter heaven.
For
Eternity, as mentioned earlier. Now, there's a third scenario where someone is really, really bad and ends up in hell. These are people who don't believe, who don't have an account, so to speak. And people who don't have an account and have done truly terrible things in the world, they end up in hell for generations or for eternity. So that's why, personally, for example, let me give you an example. First, we have to acknowledge that there are cases where we just can't accept it if someone only goes to hell for a short time. Because their evil is truly terrifying. Just look at the present. For example, there are people who really act without facing any consequences at all. They really don't consider anything.
that's why there's life imprisonment.
Exactly. When people in this world create punishments like life imprisonment or so-called endless torture that they can impose, which is life imprisonment, then that option is also given. Personally, I hope not.
No.
No,
Okay. Because with life imprisonment, there's an end to it. Death, right?
that's right. But there is no death.
If there's no death there, eternity really means, well, sorry to say. Exactly. That's extremely cruel. That's what I mean.
That's why, for me personally, this is just a hope, you know. But if we're talking about scriptural evidence, I can't say anything because I don't have any proof for that.
Okay.
But my hope is, I hope it's like this, you know, like a parent telling their child, if you do this and that, I'll kick you out of the house. But we know we'd never actually kick our child out, right?
On the other hand,
We inform them in great detail or about the absolute furthest possible limits imaginable.
don't ever do this because there's a fear that's instilled. Oh, that makes sense. That
Is my request. Because, uncle, if you say, for example, among the other dai or the other usat, I might be the one who gets the most stressed thinking about it.
after watching that got stressed out about everything. So I thought, yeah, that's true. If it's eternity, then it's like there's no point, right?
Exactly. Know why Uncle Hao said I'm tense?
Why?
You see, I have a grandmother who isn't Muslim. And I'm really close to my grandmother. So I really feel conflicted when I'm asked, for example, based on religious teachings, for instance, where would your grandmother go? Well, according to the teachings, I have to answer, right? Because I can't say anything except based on the teachings I have.
That is right. But if, for example, the grandmother is a non-Muslim religious teacher or ustads, and then she enters the bad place, which specific bad place does she enter?
Interesting. Would you like me to tell you, Uncle, that there are Western thinkers who have thought like this?
His name,
Dante
a bit later.
can make comedy. One of them is Inferno. Inferno has 9 layers of hell. It's interesting because, as far as I know, in the Christian concept, there aren't layers of hell.
What?
Has layers of hell are Muslims. And maybe he got that information from Isra Miraj, where there are layers of heaven and layers of hell. He placed figures like Saladin in hell.
In hell?
Okay. Because according to him, Saladin didn't have faith.
However,
He said he went to a part of hell called Limbo,
limbo, huh?
the highest level of hell.
Simply put,
It's the mildest hell. How do you even talk about a mild hell?
it's hell, but it's still kind of fun. Maybe it's filled with people like Elvis Presley, Madonna, that sort of thing. So even though it's hell, at least the view is still nice. That's
Dante's version, yeah. What's also interesting is that he had respect for Saladin.
and
Do you know who he placed in the lowest level of hell? Politicians and clergymen.
yeah, I think that's right.
So that's been Dante's criticism from the start. And Dante, as we know, was the one who gave birth to the Renaissance. He really understood that, in his view, the worst people, quote unquote, are those who make policies that harm others. And do you know why I said that earlier when you talked about your near-death experience, and you said that the first thing that came to your mind was to do something for others? I thought, wow, because that's exactly what I was thinking too.
But my question earlier, Kustan, when someone is of a different religion in Islam, do they go to a temporary hell or
I really do hope it is only a short-lived hell.
but it's not explained?
It's not explained.
Because
According to the scriptures, everyone who does not have faith goes to hell. And to be honest,
but which hell is it?
the same hell for the same duration. And to be honest, that's one of the main reasons why so many people don't end up converting to Islam. When I discussed this with the person, he said, I really feel like I'm the hell type. He said, even if I convert to Islam, he said, but I'm sure I'm really the hell type. And he said, I can't bear to see the people I love who aren't Muslim go to hell. I told him, I don't have any scriptural basis for that. What I do have as a basis is my hope. For example, let me give you an example like this. After all, we're only human. Let me tell you a bit about Ibrahim. Ibrahim knew that his father, in quotation marks, as mentioned in the Quran, was wrong because he worshipped idols. But when his father said, you leave or I'll stone you, it was his parent after all. You leave or I'll stone you from here. Ibrahim said, I'll go and I'll pray for you. He knew, didn't he, that praying for him was pointless, right? But he still prayed for him, didn't he? I'm the same way. I pray to Allah like, oh Allah, this person doesn't know. Is it possible for him to get just one chance even though he doesn't believe? But is it possible for him to get a chance considering he doesn't believe because he hasn't experienced what I have? He hasn't received the right information yet. So is it possible for him to be forgiven in that situation? Ustad,
Isn't saying something like this actually dangerous for you, Ustad?
I think if it's just a personal hope, there's no problem.
It is a personal belief of mine.
The thing that is strictly not permitted is for me to go ahead and claim that it is an inherent part of the religion itself